Is Kingsley Coman a Bayern legend? This was a question I have been pondering in my head all day after hearing the news that Kingsley Coman is officially leaving to Al Nassr from Bayern at just 29 years old for a 30 million euro transfer fee. The deal is sealed. It is fully official. Fabrizio and everyone have tweeted it and confirmed it. Kingsley Coman will be leaving Bayern after 9-10 seasons at the club. And all day, I've just been thinking, is Kingsley Coman a Bayern legend? Because I have very fond memories of Kingsley, but a lot of frustrating moments as well in Kingsley Coman's career at Bayern. But we're gonna break it down. We're gonna talk about that. Um, let's just get into it. So, like I already said, don't really need to spend too much time on this. Kingsley Coman to Al Nassr is a done deal. Deal agreed for a package slightly under 30 million euros. Medical and signature will happen this week. So he's gone, and I'm not fully surprised. If you remember last summer, Kingsley Coman was actually very close to joining Al Hilal, but end of the transfer window, things just didn't come to fruition, and he ended up staying at Bayern. And I think a large part and a large reason to that was Kingsley Coman thinks of no, not Kingsley Coman. Vincent Company, excuse me, thinks of Kingsley Coman very highly, and he ended up convincing him to stay. But I think, honestly, looking at this move, the thing I could take away the most, and why Kingsley Coman, at still 29 years old, is leaving Europe, is he's just done with it. He's over it. He wants to make his money. I guarantee you Kingsley Coman will play out will play out his contract at Al Nassr, and this guy is retiring. I mean, he's already made his money playing in Europe, but now he's gonna go make double the money at Al Nassr for what, 3-4 years, and he's gonna retire with many trophies to his name, a very successful career in the books for him, and live out the rest of his life setting up his family for generations to come. So I don't blame him. I think a lot of people forget Kingsley Coman has been here for a while, bro. The fact that he's 29 it's 2025 and Kingsley Coman is only 29 years old. But it feels like Kingsley Coman has been here forever. And the reason why is, remember, the year Marcus Rashford broke out at Manchester United, those days, Kingsley Coman was also a young teenager breaking out into Europe. Remember, he was at PSG. He won a league title at PSG. In fact, the crazy thing about Kingsley Coman's career is, up until now, he has only there's only been one season Kingsley Coman has not won a league title, and that was the Bayer Leverkusen undefeated season 2 years ago. That's the only season Kingsley Coman has not won a league title. This guy is as accomplished as they come. League title at PSG, league titles at all years he was at Juventus, and then winning every single league title at Bayern except the Leverkusen season 2 years ago. So the guy's accomplished. He's been at the top of European football for 10 plus years now already. He's got to a World Cup final with France. He has dealt with a load of injuries, and he's won a ton of titles. And obviously, the big moment of his career being the scoring the winning goal of the Champions League final against his boyhood team PSG in 2020. Yeah, I don't blame him, bro. I don't. And like Rashford, like I said, he did break out in the 2014-2015 seasons as a teenager, but the difference between him and Rashford is Kingsley Coman has been massively successful. He has maintained a level good enough to stay at Bayern for 9-10 years now, and he's over it. And I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy for Kingsley because he's gone through hell throughout his career. Like, yes, he's won all these trophies. Yes, he's played at all these big clubs, but the injuries, the setbacks that this guy continuously went through, they kind of screwed him, because honestly, Kingsley Coman should be going down as one of the best wingers of his generation. And I do think, quality-wise, talent-wise, Kingsley Coman is one of the most talented wingers of his generation. It's just he had so many injuries and so many setbacks. He never got to a level of fitness where he was able to play 2, 3, 4 world-class seasons in a row. He wasn't able to do that because of all the injuries he got, but he kept on persevering. And I remember when it was really bad, and the real Bayern fans will remember this, back in 2019, 2018, Kingsley Coman was going to retire, because he was getting injured so much. He was seriously at a point mentally where he was done with football altogether because of the amount of times he was getting injured. And at that time, if you remember, he missed out on the 2018 World Cup due to injury. He probably would be a World Cup winner right now as well if he didn't miss out on that World Cup due to injury. He would have, and he probably would have started at that World Cup. He probably would have started for France at that World Cup. But it's kind of funny that I bring that up. Kingsley Coman actually just came on an interview and said that missing that World Cup was a blessing in disguise because he would have never met his wife. He met his wife during the summer he was injured that year. He would have never met his current wife now if he wasn't injured. So he started a family, has kids with his now wife. In the end, it ended up working out, but still, that it just shows you like he was dealing with injuries that were keeping him out of World Cup winning campaigns. He was dealing with injuries at a time where Ribery and Robben are now leaving Bayern, and it was his time to step up, but his body wasn't allowing him to do so. So if I'm to sum up Kingsley Coman's career at Bayern, it's a lot of up and down. And honestly, I would say disappointing in the end. Like if you're being fully real, disappointing in the end. He has had his big moments, but it's not disappointing from his end because of lack of quality. I think Kingsley Coman is a high quality player. And honestly, if he was willing to, he would stay at Bayern another season. And you could see he's still playing at a top level. I mean, what he just did against Tottenham a couple days ago at the Club World Cup when he was fit, you saw the damage he was doing. He was running circles around those PSG players. He still has it to play at the top of Europe. And if he had the desire, maybe he would have left to Bayern for a team like Liverpool, for a team like Man City, some of the big teams. But he just wants to cash out with a big fat paycheck and retire after his next contract and kick back and relax the rest of his life. And I don't blame him. But yeah, I would honestly deem his time at Bayern a little bit underwhelming because of all those injuries. And the frustrating thing for Coman is he's a great player, but he's never had those stats seasons. Now, I'm not a stats merchant, guys. I don't care about the stats, goals, assists, XG, XA, expected wanks. I don't care. I don't care about all that. I care about what I see on the pitch. I care about the quality, your brain. I care about how your brain thinks on the field when I watch you play. And Kingsley Coman isn't necessarily lacking in that department. But what Kingsley Coman is missing and has missed throughout his entire career is those stats to convince people that don't watch Bayern all the time that he is one of the top players of his generation. Because a lot of people don't watch Bayern. A lot of people just look at the stats sheets to say, oh, who's the best Bayern player? If a Premier League fan was to assess Bayern, they would probably just look at stats and they would tell you Harry Kane has been the best player at Bayern the last 2 years. When that's not the case, it's been Musiala and now Elise this past season. But you get what I mean. A lot of people judge Bayern by just looking at a statistics sheet. And unfortunately for Coman, he's been at Bayern for 9 years. People will look back at his career, look at the stats, and say, ooh, he never broke 10 league goals in a season? He's never had, 30 GA goals and assists. He's never had 30 GA in a season, 30 plus GA in a season. Like, people will look at that, and ultimately, because of the way the general football audience is going, how people break down the sport, how people remember players, people will look back on his GA and think he wasn't that great, but he was a good player. He was a great player. And at times, Kingsley Coman was world-class at Bayern, but the stats just never were there to convince the rest of the world. And personally, for me, that's also why he's a little underwhelming, because there were times, in Kingsley Coman's career at Bayern, dude, where sometimes he just knows how to strike a ball, top right, top left. I mean, look what he did against Tottenham 4 days ago. Shifts the ball out to his left foot on his weak foot and smashes it into the top left corner. World-class finish. But there has been months and periods in his Bayern career where Kingsley Coman looks like he doesn't know how to cross a ball. He doesn't know how to shoot a ball. Crossing the ball to Mars, Jupiter, shooting the ball all the way to the other side of the world into Chinese territory. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to break this question down. Is Kingsley Coman a Bayern legend? Because it's been frustrating at times, but when times were good with Coman, they were great. They were great. Very happy with him. But when he is not putting weight, last season, Very frustrating season for him because he would constantly miss his 1v1 chances as well. He was not clinical at all the last season, or two even. So it just sucks. It just sucks. It just sucks because when I think about that question I posed, is Kingsley Coman a Bayern legend? When I think of Bayern legends, dude, honestly, like I'm thinking out of our wingers, and the bar is pretty high. The bar is pretty high. And just looking at our last generation of wingers, Robin and Ribery, did Kingsley Coman ever reach Robin Ribery level? Sure, for certain periods, he probably reached a very high level, but he never consistently played to a Robin Ribery level because of the injuries, because of his inconsistencies in front of goal or in the final third. What I'll tell you always Kingsley Coman had was just dribbling ability. I mean, if the most consistent aspect of Kingsley Coman's game is one, his dribbling ability to take his man on, he's still one of the best in the world at that, and two, his defensive work rate. 100%, which is why under Vincent Kompany loved him so much because he puts that defensive work in, which you need to do as a winger in Vincent Kompany's Bayern team. But he never consistently played similar to the level of a Robin and Ribery. On the other side of the field, you look at a Gnabry. Now, Gnabry is far more finished than Kingsley Coman right now. But at least you can say with Gnabry that for a season, he was probably the best winger in the world the year we won the Champions League. And for 2 years, he was world class, Serge Gnabry. The 2 seasons under Hansi Flick, you could at least say that for him. Getting 10 plus goals in the Champions League, scoring clutch goals in the Champions League, being feared across Europe. I feel like Gnabry reached a higher level, but in terms of consistently solid play, Kingsley Coman has that over him. Is Kingsley Coman a Bayern legend? I think he is. I kept on going back and forth on this today, but I think he is. Now, yes, the whole thing about stats I talked about, the whole thing about output in the final third, for someone of his caliber, he was never world-class at that. I think I'll put it like that. He's a world-class player, world-class talent, but in terms of being effective in the final third, there were not many times Kingsley Coman was world-class consistently throughout his career, not just at Bayern, but throughout his entire career in Europe. I think that's a good way of putting it. He's a world-class player with world-class quality and talent, but he was never able to achieve world-class output in the final third, scoring, assisting consistently. And that's due to his injury record, and that's due to his own qualities as well. It's not, you can't just blame it all on injuries for Kingsley Coman. So I would say he's a legend though. For the amount of years he was at the club, many big moments. It wasn't just the Champions League final goal. I mean, one of his other huge moments that he had, I always remember, is our epic comeback against Juventus in the 2016 season, when Pep Guardiola's third season. That goal he scored on his left foot to just cap off the night, that beautiful night in the Allianz Arena, that's another moment that always stands out to me. Always. So, yeah, Kingsley Coman, in the end, you could say he was a little underwhelming, but because of the time he spent at this club, the multiple big moments he gave us, when he was fit, he was pretty consistent in terms of his general play, but obviously I talked about and I hit on the attacking output side of his game. I would say he's a Bayern legend. Now, there's different levels of being a Bayern legend. I would definitely say the door. Come on. I hate when I'm in the middle of recording something and someone just walks in. Like, come on now. Let's anyway. Legend, but like I was about to say, there's different levels of being a legend at Bayern, and he would definitely be, if there was like 3 tiers of being a Bayern legend, like the absolute goat of the club, your Beckenbauers, Lahms, Gerd Muller's, Neuer's, there's that level of legend. And then you got people like Ribéry, Robin in the second tier of legend, and then you got like a third tier legends, like maybe Coman and maybe like an Elber, guys like that. So kind of like cold hero legend type status at the club. Kingsley Coman definitely deserves that. He is a Bayern legend, in my opinion, now that it's all said and done. And yeah, I'm going to miss him because honestly, with Kingsley Coman, he was always a team player, always someone you could count on to persevere. Because if he could persevere through all the injuries and difficulties he had through his career, you can count on him to persevere through a game, keep trying things, and never give up. Yeah, he epitomizes, an era of Mia San Mia, an era of Bayern, the last 10, 11 years. And although there was ups and downs, I am a little underwhelmed in the end, given what I expected from him, especially after Robin and Ribery left. But he by no means was trash, crap. It's just the expectations I had of him, which were extremely high. I have to say that I have to just clarify that before I end the video. My expectations for Coman were to be top 3 wingers, top 5 wingers in the world. That's the expectation. That's what I expected of him because of he has the quality. Coman has that quality to be that level, but he just consistently was a little underwhelming from the level. There was many seasons though Kingsley Coman was a top 10 winger, starting for the French national team, etc. But I really had the belief that he could be top 5 of his generation. I really did. But I don't blame him for leaving Europe. He's won so much. He's gone through so much. I hope he vibes out in Saudi, and I wish him all the best, Kingsley Coman. Thank you. Mia San Mia, you're a legend. Love you. Will miss you. See you later. King.